the Philadelphia fans making this show really damn fun. I'm Trevor with a retro review of WWE Survivor Series 2006. If you look at the results and even, watch a couple of the matches in a vacuum, you might not think this is a great Survivor Series, and some people might not even rank it in their top 10. I would, because this is just really goddamn fun. Sure, there's some shenanigans and, some, quick eliminations in the elimination matches. In fact, I would argue those pretty much take a back seat to the singles matches that are on the card. But this was a really, really fun event. And that Philadelphia crowd, sweet Jesus, they can bolster just about anything. And boy, do they ever. They booed Cena. They had a lot of really great cheers. And then there was one uncomfortable segment with the women's match. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, Are You Ready by Hazen Street? Great theme, by the way. Dark match was Carlito versus Charlie Haas. The first match was an elimination match, 4-on-4. It was Legends versus the Spirit Squad. How Dolph Ziggler ever survived the Spirit Squad, I'll never know. I know he had to go down, to developmental and, reinvent himself and everything, but I just will never understand, A, how the Spirit Squad got greenlit. Elijah Burke actually turned it down. He's like, no, I'm not fucking doing that. And god damn, that fucking gimmick was so bad. It gave me an appreciation for the fact those guys really had to put up with a lot of shit. I mean, DX just fucking buried them like crazy during every single match. But they took on Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Ron Simmons, and Sergeant Slaughter, Arn Anderson in the corner. And Mitch of the Spirit Squad was outside the ring. I think he was dealing with like a back injury or something, and he was always out there, but he was never really taking a lot of bumps. I mean, I think the only time I ever saw him take much of anything is he would get hit and then he would get out really quick. I think he was also dating Tori Wilson at one point. Ron got counted out. Nikki eliminated Sergeant Slaughter. Dusty eliminated Nikki about 30 seconds later. It all came down to Flair eliminating, everybody else, and then they beat him down afterwards. This is also right after Roddy Piper and Ric Flair had to, relinquish. Well, they lost the tag team championships because Roddy Piper was diagnosed with a form of cancer. I don't remember what. He got treated, thankfully, but they had to drop the tag titles to Ray at RKO. But this was, it was fun. It wasn't a great match by any stretch of the imagination because all those legends were well past their prime at that point, including Ric Flair. But at least it got the crowd electrified. And then we have Chris Benoit versus Chavo Guerrero with Vicky Guerrero for the U.S. Championship. It's really hard for me to watch a Benoit match. Just like it's hard for me to watch a Snuka match. It just really, and, a few others. It's really goddamn hard for me to watch. This was when, Benoit had obviously been Eddie's friend. They were doing the whole Chavo and Vicky they took out Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio would be out for nearly a year. He would not come back till SummerSlam in 2007. And that really weird Silver Surfer body paint thing that he had. But this was, it was a good match. It was technically sound. It was hard hitting, but again, watching a Benoit match. Vicky stops the crossface once. I wonder where she was 7 months later. And bumbled Vicky. Chavo didn't give a damn about Vicky, but the crossface taps out Chavo. One line from JBL that did not age well at all. Benoit took a cheap shot at a woman. How dare he? Oh boy. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you've been living under a rock. Not living under the rock. That would be uncomfortable. Or maybe a good thing for you guys. I don't kink shame. Crime time. During a Lita and Edge promo, sneak into Lita's locker room and take a box of her stuff. Oh boy. Oh boy. They say, JTG says to Todd Grisham, who was there at the time, you didn't see nothing. God damn it. Oh, god damn it. JR actually got one good line at thrown at Lawler here, talking about how Mickey had to fight through a whole lot. She will not be shackled. She will not be blindfolded. Sounds like a lot of your prom dates, King. Damn, JR, just taking shots there at your friend. To be fair, Jerry Lawler is a bit of a creep. Mickie James versus Lita, Women's Championship. The match was well wrestled. It was Lita's last match in WWE. Well, at least for, I want to say, about a year and a half. Was it a year and a half or was it a number of years? I know Trish came back at one point. It was very strange. But Lita understandably wanted to leave. She didn't want to be part of this stuff because she had been made a punching bag and the butt of many jokes because of the whole thing with Matt, Edge, and her. And I want to make it clear right now that I don't blame people for being upset at Lita. I don't blame people for being upset at Edge. And sure, Matt Hardy maybe did go and air his dirty laundry, but based on whatever you guys feel, The jokes were fine at first, and then they just got out of control. And I remember watching at the time and thinking, okay, oh, it's funny. Okay, now we're getting a little bit much. It was a little bit much. And there wasn't nearly as much social media. Any social media was like, just all wrestling forums. And yeah, people were being a little bit ridiculous. Had Twitter been around at the time that that this was going on, or a lot of storylines are going on in WWE, like the Eddie Guerrero death or the Chris Benoit murders, my God, it would have been absolutely crazy. Well, like if basically Twitter or any social media had been what it is now, it would have just been fucking insane. Basically, there's a lot of jokes flying around about Lita, and then a DDT for 3, so Lita loses her final match, and Mickey wins the championship. Okay, makes sense. Crime Time then has Lita's box and starts selling her stuff. Now, I understand what they were trying to do here. Vince McMahon was probably pissed off that first Trish left in, a couple months ago at Unforgiven 2006. They gave her a heroine's, send-off and everything. It was in Toronto. She beat Lita. It was great stuff. It was really, really good stuff. It was. I don't blame Lita for wanting to leave, and I think they could have found a better way to do it. I mean, this isn't even like aging badly. This was a bad idea at the time. They're selling off her bra. They're selling off her panties at JBL. They're selling off her Monistat stuff. And, I'm just throwing this stuff out there, and it's all in this big box. And then they say, wait, what's left? Lita's box. It's cheap, it's wide, and you can put your head in it. No wonder Lita wanted to leave. And I don't blame Crime Time here. They were just put out there to do that shit, but my fucking God, that was so bad. JBL then is upset at Crime Time for selling him a bad piece of merchandise and calls them thugs. We know what he meant. And then the Hardys, DX and CM Punk versus Edge, Orton, Johnny Nitro, Gregory Helms, and Mike Knox with Kelly Kelly. Remember Kelly Kelly? You know how they brought her in there and she basically had the personality of a freaking light post with the bulb burned out, and they said, hey, you're going to get in the ring. We're not going to give you any training, and you're going to be made the butt of so many goddamn jokes because Vince loves blondes and he wants to mock you. I'm sorry, that just seemed to be what I was never a big fan of Kelly Kelly. She should have never been in the ring. She damn sure should have never beaten Beth Phoenix, especially in Buffalo, New York at Night of Champions 2011. Yes, I'm still upset about that, but they also didn't give Kelly Kelly any fucking wrestling training, so it's a miracle she was able to do anything besides scream and do a head scissors and everything. And man, they really did not treat the women all that well, did they? So she was the exhibitionist at this point. She liked to strip off her clothes because why not, degrade women like that? No wonder so many women were pushed to the side and just decided to go to Impact Wrestling, well, TNA at the time, and work in the Knockouts division, Mickey, Victoria, and the like. Because what the fuck else were they going to do? They couldn't really get any good matches going here, and if they could, they would get cut off at the knees. Triple H putting over Punk this time, didn't put him over a number of years later. Mike Knox gets super kicked and eliminated in 40 seconds. And Shawn Michaels is even like, who was that? Mike Knox. Okay, it's funny because nobody paid attention to ECW. To be fair, Mike Knox was basically just a mid-carder, but oh boy. And then Punk taps Nitro with the Vice like 5 minutes in. Jeff and Shawn do a cool dive. Dueling dives. Twist of face, wonton pins Helms. Matt Hardy gets some revenge on Gregory Helms, who's a very underappreciated Cruiserweight champion, I believe. It's a mugging because it's down to rated RKO and all of Team DX, Hardys, and Punk. Sweet Chin Music pins Edge, and then Orton gets pinned about, a minute afterwards. It's a clean sweep. This is also, this one actually kind of had one funny moment. Shawn Michaels does this, crisscross, and then, goes outside and puts his arm around Melina. Then she's like this, and he's like, and it just, I don't know why that made me laugh. I would congratulate Shawn, but he blocked me on Twitter for some reason. Blocked a lot of people apparently during the most recent takeover. Bit weird that. So Mr. Kennedy, and the Undertaker had a first blood match earlier. MVP said that he would help Mr. Kennedy out. Now, 2 weeks prior, Mr. Kennedy tossed MVP in, and he got beaten up by the Brothers of Destruction. This would lead to MVP and Kane having an Inferno match at, I believe, Armageddon 2006, which I may retro review at some point, since it was a pretty damn fun event. One of the unsung, however that's fucking said, pay-per-views of the 2000, at least of the non-Big Four. He also had Joey Mercury, poor Joey Mercury, getting his nose shattered. So anyway, a little bit later, after some exposed buckle shots and hard hits, MVP's helping out Mr. Candy because he's bleeding from the mouth. He's got internal injuries, and he wipes that up. And then he tosses Candy back in there because he was like, well, you screwed me over 2 weeks ago, so here you go. And then MVP tries to hit Mr. Candy with a chair, and Undertaker, gets hit with it because MVP, is not realizing that maybe I shouldn't hit him in the back of the head. Jeff Hardy. Remember when Mr. Anderson got hit in the back of the head with a chair? It's a miracle that he even has brain attached. Then Taker's bleeding, and Candy wins. And then Taker proceeds to get up after Candy does his whole microphone thing and destroy Candy. Punches him, cracks him in the head with one of the most vile chair shots of the 2000s. It sounded like, 5 rifle shots at once. It was just insane. And then they would have a last rites match at Armageddon 2006. Should I retro review Armageddon 2006? Let me know in the comments. I have the temptation to. I do need content for December. Cena, Lashley, Kane, RVD, and Sabu versus Show, Finlay, MVP, Test, and Umaga. Umaga gets DQ'd by monitoring the situation and hitting everybody in the head, and almost deciding to behead Cena with the monitor, because why not? Man, it's really kind of scary that a couple of these guys would die in 2009. Test early in 2009, and then Umaga later in 2009. And then Frog Splash pins MVP. Big Boot pins RVD right after that because Test roided out of his goddamn mind at this point. Just fucking hell. Sap, and I mean, I'm not saying he was the only one, but they were like, oh man, he looks like he's been working out. I mean, yeah, he's had a little bit of help. Kind of like watching Cage. Sabu with a tornado DDT pins Test. Chokeslam pins Sabu. So these are quick eliminations. These are all within a minute and a half, 2 minutes of each other. I think it was like, it's four eliminations, Human Centipede together. And then Finlay hits came from behind. We get a chokeslam for 3. Crowd heavily booing Cena whenever he got offense. Big Show, who they did not like, hit a power slam on Cena and got cheered. Got cheered like he was royalty. Royalty would come up later. Finlay taken out by Lashley and then FU to Show, which was impressive. I mean, always impressive to see Cena do that. How strong he was, and he did that to Big Show. He also did in 2003. A pretty fun elimination match, in all honesty, there. Batista versus Booker T, last chance match for the world title. If Batista did not win the championship, if he did not beat Booker T and win this title, he would never get another shot. They couldn't have telegraphed this anymore if they put a fucking telegraph in the middle of the ring. But Teddy Long says, hey, if Booker gets counted out or disqualified, that will be it. The match had a big fight feel. Batista attacked him in the entranceway. During his entrance, basically didn't get a chance to, get his robe off. It's a good thing he didn't have a jacket. He wouldn't get a chance to jack it off in front of everybody. The match worked, they always worked well together, especially after that fight they had, for the SummerSlam 2006 commercial. Referee distraction. Sharmell tries distracting because Booker has a world title. Oh no, he's going to do this, and he's going to find a way to get away with it. Kind of like how Edge got away with beating Cena at SummerSlam 2006. Nope. Duck. And belt shot from Batista to Booker. So Batista cheats and gets the victory. I mean, technically he did, but the referee didn't see it. So Batista wins the world title in the same venue where he had to relinquish the championship earlier that year. So it's a nice story. And then Batista would go on to have a very underappreciated match against Undertaker at WrestleMania 23. So anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.